again, live with Marcia Scott. And tonight we are having none other than Sash with us. But for those of you who have not seen the last two and you're joining us for the first time, I'm going to allow Sash to introduce herself.
Oh,
Introduce
wow.
herself. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. My name is Sashani Gray. I am a manicurist to the stars and an educator in the beauty space. And I am also a mentee, a student of Miss Marcia Scott.
Yes.
Mhm.
Well, guys, we had such a good time the last two sessions.
We did.
And based on you guys' request, that's why we are having Sash back. And I think it is amazing. I think what she does for us is that she brings out the things that most of you are wanting to ask, and sometimes a little bit shy, but wanting to ask, and then you're hearing what you need to hear. And tonight we're going to do it the same way, but a little bit differently. And tonight we're going to talk about living a life with ease.
Oh, yeah.
Living a night with ease. As you all know, I have a book called Living Life with Ease. And I use the letters, that spells out the word ease, and each one represents something. So you should check out that book on Amazon. But it is not just a book for me. It is a way of life.
Mhm.
I was saying to Sash, I can be totally frank with you that I do better when I have people on with me because I don't fake spirituality.
Mhm.
I'm not a faker of spirituality. Spirituality is something that comes out and it's a way of life. Also, what I say to people is that I like for you to know that I'm a real person.
Mhm.
I'm not just some made up thing or somebody trying to do something. No, I've stopped trying. I don't even try clothes on anymore. I really don't. I don't. I stop because when you try, you're staying in that stage of loitering. And that's not what I want to do with life. I want to live life. And that's why living your life with ease. I don't want to live a life of hardship, Sash.
Mhm.
I want to live a life of ease. So for you as a younger person, what does living life with ease look like?
Ooh, that is an awesome question. Thank you for asking. A living life with ease for me is the storms will come. And when the storms do come, I get to navigate them with a peace that surpasses all understanding.
Hmm. So when you say the storm comes,
Hmm.
talk to me. To me.
Life, if I'm a millennial. We say things like life is lifing, and life will life. Obstacles will happen. Challenges will happen. Um, you will face adversities. You will face circumstances that might make you feel uncomfortable, um, or that might make others feel uncomfortable, if you will. Uh, However, with the mindset of living my life with ease, with being tapped into the divinity that I am, there is a sense of knowing that all my needs are met and everything's going to be okay.
So you said a lot of things, but there's
Hmm.
one I'm going to stick on for a little
Hmm.
while. And you said, as you live your life with ease, as you live your life with and with a sense of knowing and knowing that divine is always here for you and always doing this. I want you to tell us, really tell us,
Hmm.
as you do this,
Hmm.
what does your daily life look like? Just give me a day in the life of Sash.
A day in the life of Sash. Okay,
Because
well,
you talked about the storm.
yes.
You said the storms will come.
Hmm.
And you said when the storms come, there's a peace that passeth understanding.
Correct.
Yes. But you did say storms come.
Yeah.
So what's happening when the storms come that gives you this peace that passeth understanding?
Well, the storm doesn't give me the peace. The peace is already there.
Ooh.
So when the peace is there, whether the storm is there or not. So when the
Mhm.
storm comes, it's the storm. And I see it as such, and it as all storms do, they dissipate. They're not there forever.
So do we get a chance to participate in the storm? Because sometimes I wanna have my own little tantrum tantrum.
I mean, you absolutely can if you choose to.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of us will. Even, Jesus in the garden, was it the Garden of Gethsemane? And he
Yeah.
he knew he was going to be sacrificed, and he even bawled out to God, like, "Why me? I don't want to do this. Pick somebody else. I don't want to do this." He cried until blood came, but he understood that that was his assignment, and he wiped his tears, and he went on to his assignment. Um, so it's not like we're not going to experience emotion. There's a human side to us. What you can't speak on behalf of anybody else, but what how I navigate it is I allow myself to feel these emotions.
Mm.
Sometimes
Pause there
it's
for a while.
okay.
Pause there for a while.
Mhm.
You allow yourself to feel these emotions.
Mhm.
So if it's an emotion of sadness,
Mhm.
an emotion that makes you feel a little bit down and depressed, if it's an emotion that really takes you out of the loop, do you still allow yourself to feel that?
I do.
Hmm. But when you allow yourself to feel that, don't you think it actually causes more pain? How can you call that ease?
It will only continue to cause more pain if you continuously bring up the past and replay whatever event that's happened in your life over and over and over again. But what you can do is accept whatever happened as is. And sometimes things happen that will make us feel sad. We allow ourselves to experience the sadness. We're not going to numb it by whatever. Oh, shoot. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do numb it. Sometimes we emotionally eat.
Yes, emotionally ease.
Hello.
Hello.
um, you know,
A
we're
food
not
com-
right. We're not saying, that's the best way to deal with it, but again, this is a life and a life of us going through our process, right? Um, but sometimes we will do things that will try to numb us, but I will encourage you to allow yourself just to feel that sadness, and eventually it does go away. The sadness does go away. But however, what I do not feel is a sense of despair. And I think that is a difference between the two. I feel sadness because something happened in my life that will facilitate me to feel sad. Experience loss, if it's loss of a friendship, if it's loss of a loved one, if
Mhm,
somebody's passed on, or whatever, you will mourn that. And along with mourning comes grief and sadness.
mhm,
So allow yourself to feel that. But what I do not feel is a sense of despair, like my life is over, or what is the meaning, or there's no meaning to life. I do not feel that. And that is the piece that I'm referring to is I allow myself to feel the sadness, but I know this too shall pass. And I know things are always working out for me.
you know,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. Sometimes we even know that because things are always working out for me, if I've experienced loss, that loss is meant to happen for something else to fill that space,
Mhm,
even greater than what I've lost.
mhm. So let's live the life with ease again and let's
Hmm.
look at this because I like that point.
Yeah.
And want us to talk about that
Hmm.
because a lot of times when you're building something new, it means that you have to get rid of something old.
Oh, yeah.
And the old is what I'm accustomed to.
Mhm.
The old is what I am comfortable with. The
Mhm.
old is what I used to use. I know it's not working anymore for me
Mhm.
because of how I feel. I
Absolutely.
know it's not working. I can tell it's not working, but I prefer to hold on to it because of comfort. So you're telling me now that when we live a life with ease, sometimes we have to get rid of some of the old stuff.
Absolutely. And a part of that grief is grieving your old ways of being, your
Wow.
old ways of showing up that's no longer supporting you because you've operated um, and you showed up in this way for the majority of your life. And that's what you're accustomed to. That's what you've identified yourself as being. And then one day you wake up and you realize The things that I used to use and the techniques and practices I used to and thought process I used to have that served me so far up, it's no longer working. And you realize something has to change. Okay. So then you decide to change. And when you decide to change, you take on a whole new mindset. There's a part of that transformational process where you will look back and you're like, oh, I'm no longer the person I used to be. What's happening? It's like your ego starts to almost panic. And what you realize, what you're going through is grief.
Grief.
It is the loss of who you used to be and how you used to show up.
Sure. And that's gone. And that's gone.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to pause at grief because for someone who has gone through losing a loved one that's very dear to them, I've experienced grief. Grief ain't no joke. Grief is no joke. And grief is very emotional.
Yes.
Grief is extremely. So when you grieve, I- sometimes, you have to go through the stages of grief.
Yes.
And as you go through the stages of grief, and sometimes you even deny that anything is really happening.
Yeah.
And then you go further into it, and then it feels like you've been ripped apart.
Yes.
Literally, like you've been ripped apart. Like your whole world is ripped apart.
Yeah.
And then you go where the world, it doesn't even feel like it has any meaning anymore.
Yeah.
This thing has any meaning anymore. So you're telling me that we can go through the same grief, not just if somebody makes their transition, but when I transition from one way of living into another way of living, and I feel this grief. So I don't need to get with it. Somebody that's going through grieving right now. And the person hugged me really tight and cried and said, you know what hurts the most? That when you're grieving, they expect you to just move on like nothing happened.
Right.
They expect you to pretend or to go on as if, it's like before.
Yeah.
But it is now the new normal.
Yeah.
So is it the same thing that you experience when you grieve anything?
Absolutely.
So when you grieve this old way of living, then it's a new normal for you. And a new normal, that means it's my normal way now, but a new normal is you have to get used to it.
Yeah.
And that's what causes the discomfort.
Yeah.
And that sometimes can cause people. I've seen a lot of people on their spiritual journey when they get to that point and they're in that grieving of the old self, they turn right back
Mm-hmm.
because the emotion is so strong.
Can I have to say that I think that's why it's so important to have a coach like yourself in your corner to help to identify the stage of grief that you're on to keep you on course that, hey, listen, what you're going through right now is normal. You're at the right place at the right time, doing the right thing, feeling even the right things. Just stay the course. I too experienced that, and I have to say I probably would have because I have tried to, transform many times, but again that reverting back to what used to
That
console me. It no longer
don't fit.
it doesn't fit anymore.
Doesn't
And
fit
I
anymore.
even go back to try
Doesn't
to make it
fit.
fit, but without
Yes.
what with the help of your coaching,
Yeah.
you've allowed for me to identify what stage of the grieving process I was to help to guide me through that grieving process to bring me through to the other side. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But I want to go back to this, guys, this one point here, and especially for women. I have to say this for women because we play so many different roles.
Mhm.
You're a daughter, you're a sister, you're a mother, you're a career person. And, the guy comes up to in the workplace and he wears the same suit every day. Nobody really cares. Girl comes up to the same place and we have to change. Sometimes we have to change twice for the day. It's not the same standard for us. And then because we're socialized to be nice and to be okay with whatever comes our way.
Right.
When you're finally standing up for yourself and saying, this is it, and you're going through what you call your grieving process, the grieving of the old you, it is sometimes difficult to navigate that emotional roller coaster because that is it. It is going to be emotional. And you are going to go through. It's like a pulling, it's like a storm. But the key to remember is not to get into the storm. No matter what storm comes your way, don't get into the storm. That's not yours. Just to be able to look at the storm like Jesus did in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he was able to look at his storm that he was facing. And when he looked at his storm, he was able to align with God. And when you align with God and you look at your storm, the storm will move away. So if you're out there and you're going through grieving of any kind, it could be a loved one, or it could be an old way of living and thinking. It could be a job. It could be any situation. Grieving of any kind is grieving. And if you're going through grieving, remember, you have to go through the stages. But remember, don't run away from it. Sometimes it's better to sit in it, just to sit in it and allow it. Just to sit in it and allow it. I thank you for being so vulnerable with us and sharing this. Another thing that I really like about, when I hear you expressing yourself and about living a life with ease is that in the conversations that we have, you're not trying to paint a picture to anyone here. And as you young people put it, that life isn't life in.
Yeah, life will life. It will.
And you are, but you're just showing that life is life in, but it is how you handle
Percent.
what comes that matters.
Yes.
And I appreciate that. I appreciate that. One of the things that I like to say to people is that whenever you're going through life, remember there's a forward motion and then there's a forward movement. If you're going to go through life like a hamster on a hamster, then you're going to have a lot of motion, none of which is forward, and you'll have no movement. Absolutely no movement. Life is about movement. If you look at a river is constantly moving. It is not the same river at any part of the river. You meet one part of the river here, you're going to meet another part of the river here. But it is sometimes very difficult because people will judge you for that. They'll say, Sash, but, they're looking on the outside, but how do you deal with that and still live a life of ease?
I know there are going to be judgments,
Mm-hmm.
but I see people for where they are in their own conscious journey, and I do not allow for where they are to determine how I feel about where I am, because I know where I am is wonderful. Sometimes, can I be candid?
Yes.
Okay, I've gained a lot of weight during this process.
Mm-hmm.
The grieving of the old Sash, who before I thought I was the best thing next to sliced bread. Nobody could
You're
talk.
still the best
If
thing
I
next to slice.
there's a difference between the egoic thinking
I
I'm
hear
the
you. I hear you.
versus
Mm-hmm.
divinely knowing
Yes.
that I'm the.
Yes.
So the grief process for me was very difficult.
Yes.
Um, it 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 took
Uh-huh.
a number of years,
Yeah.
actually.
Yes.
It took me about 2 years or
Uh-huh.
so,
Mm-hmm.
to grieve, but, again, to be candid, I'm 40 years old, so that's 40 years of conditioning that I had to purge
Yes.
and grieve and let go of
Yes.
in order to
Yes.
walk in the divinity and the light that I get to show up in now.
Yes.
So if my colleagues, our community members would have seen Sash 2 years ago, who was, 40 pounds lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and they were to see me now,
Yes.
they probably are going to judge me.
Yes.
How can you sit there and you tell me that life is wonderful? No, in Jamaica, they say, look how you get fat.
Yes.
And I'd be like, yes.
Yes.
um, because, I was going through a grieving process and I don't need to, what's the word? Explain
Explain.
myself to
No.
people either. I don't.
No.
Because I know my journey
Because you know your worth.
and I know my
And you
worth
know who you are.
and I know who I
And
am.
you know that you are worthy. And
Absolutely.
because you know that you are worthy and you are your best thing,
Mhm.
the opinion of others
Matters not to
does
me.
not become the label that I wear.
Absolutely not.
Because I am telling you that people will have an opinion
Yes.
because we all have a nose. I have some opinions of myself that needs to be changed. If I have opinion of myself like that needs to be changed, then the others, they can have their opinion of me too. That means that's okay. Every opinion that I have myself is not for my highest good. Trust me on that. I'm telling you that because I've been programmed.
Correct.
I have been programmed. So every opinion that I have of myself doesn't necessarily have to be good. Let me give you an example. Here you are, wonderful little girl, and you can always do your artwork and all of this, and you draw something, and your mom had a bad day, and she comes in from work. She don't want to hear about nothing that you draw, and she says, It is horrible. Your work is horrible," and you take that in and make that who you should be. You want to be creating like you're creating today. You see what I'm saying? And even if you did, you have to change that opinion.
Yeah.
And like I say to you guys, and you just said it, you always have to remember it didn't take a day or 2 days to get you here. It took decades to get you here. And it wasn't just one thing that mom said that got you here, but mom said it, the person at the school said it, the uncle said it, somebody, your classmate said it, your friend said it, all of those. But when you begin to know and see who you are, and you're grieving that old you, because that old you cannot stand up to where you're going, then things will happen. You're going to go through the emotional roller coaster of grieving. And sometimes we emotionally eat.
Yeah.
And some of us emotionally shop.
Yeah.
And some of us emotionally whatever.
Yeah.
And we do that. You all do that. You know what I'm talking about. But I encourage you not to focus too much on the external, but to focus on what is happening inside of you.
Absolutely.
Because living a life with ease means you're living a life of effort.
Yeah.
So you're efforting into this new you. It means living a life of having the right attitude.
Yeah.
And the right attitude brings the right mindset.
Correct.
And the right mindset brings the right result.
Absolutely.
And then you have to now start getting certain skills. It could be spiritual skills. It could be other skills within your job, within your genre that you need to get. You have to get honing on those skills because those skills are going to morph into success.
Precisely.
And only after you have done all of that can you experience excellence. And the excellence now comes out of you, not as something that your effort or do, but something that you just do. That's your natural state of being.
Absolutely.
And so they're gonna look on. They're gonna look on. They look on. And they're gonna criticize. And I tell you what too, and this is why I say when you're doing your spiritual work, keep it in the secret place.
Yeah.
Keep as much as you can in the secret place. Find a few confidants because when the mind is going, you need one or two people you can just talk with. And so just to distract the mind. That's all you're doing. You're talking with them to distract the mind. But you don't dissipate your energy by speaking to the multitude.
Correct.
And let the multitude judge because their judgment is just a perception and everybody has an opinion of how things should be.
Absolutely.
But what you are knowing within yourself and what you are experiencing within yourself is a growth, is a growth that they cannot understand.
It's a sacred journey.
It's a sacred journey, and sacred it is. It's a journey only you alone can go on. And you're going to do it your way. Can't do it my way because it's not my journey.
Correct.
You have to do it your way. And guess what? Guess what, too, Sash?
What?
You have a vision. Not my vision, but your vision. Not the vision of the critics, but your vision. You have a vision. And let me tell you something. When you are embarking on a vision, it's very lonely because only you alone can take up the mantle.
Ooh.
You don't have anybody that can take up that mantle with you, not even your mama.
Mhm.
You alone can take up that vision. But guess what? When you do the spiritual work and when the talks and chatter of the critics no longer matter, then you're able to invite, not to invite, let's X that word out, to attract, to literally attract the right inner circle that you will need to bring this vision alive. Because you now become an attractor for your very desire. You now attract what you need for your very desire to be. You now attract the very things that you need in order for this desire to be manifested. You are going to attract. And the reason why you know when you're on a spiritual journey, and I say this, how you know you're on a spiritual journey is when you see you dying, literally dying. You have to die, and it comes with the emotions of grief. You have to die because you must surrender. And as you surrender, then guess what? Because look at yourself as this, you're a transparent piece of glass. But when you have it cluttered with posters and things, nothing can shine through. The divine can't shine through. Your desires can't shine through. And the only way it can shine through is when you're able to move the clutter and become transparent. And you only do that by surrender. Surrendering is a very important step in your journey to self. And surrendering is the only way you can live your life with ease.
Amen.
Thank you again, Sasha, sharing. And let's practice some surrendering right now.
Let's meditate.
Let's meditate. So, as we close our eyes, I invite you to sit in a very comfortable position. And if you're meditating with us for the first time, then that's okay. I just want you to sit in a comfortable position, your spine nice and straight, and just allow yourself to focus on something that distract your mind from everything else that is happening. And I normally say focus on the breath, only the breath. And gently breathe in and release. Again, gently breathe in and release. Once more, gently breathing in and release. Allow yourself to be at peace with this moment. Allow yourself to be in one moment with this moment. Allow yourself to be in a sense of knowing with this moment. Understanding that there's no place where you can be where the divine is not. And because you can be nowhere where the divine is not, you're in a safe place. So again, breathing in and release. Once more, breathing in and release. One last deep breath in and release. And slowly come back. Come back to this present now. Come back to this moment of fulfillment. And be at ease. And if you want to continue with your meditation practice, go on YouTube. You'll find I have a lot of meditation there. There's one called Meditation for Intention. It's a morning meditation that you can use every day just to start your day. Just to start your day with detoxing yourself from the clutter. And I have another one that you can use just to end your day, to close the day in thanksgiving, in being grateful for this moment called now. Thank you for joining. And Sash, I want to thank you for joining us. I really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you for
And
having
I
me.
thank you for being so candid. And as we are finishing off our 3-part series, which was not planned, we were supposed to meet once, but one word you want to share with everyone. Just one word.
Gratitude.
Gratitude. Gratitude. And on that note, I say next time, see you right here. Gratitude.